The current push toward gun control is being presented in a particularly dangerous and dishonest manner. It is being framed in terms of mental health and packaged in a way that almost guarantees victory for the advocates of control. The question raised is, and I quote, "How do we keep guns away from the mentally ill?" Unquote. The International Business Times reports, and I quote, "In addition to gun control measures, Obama's anti-violence package includes increasing mental health resources, boosting funding for school security, and lifting restrictions that prevent the government from researching the causes of gun violence." Unquote. Obama is attempting to lift a long-standing ban on the Centers for Disease Control, CDC. In 1996, Congress made the appropriation of funds to the Centers for Disease Control on the condition that none of the funds made available for injury prevention and control at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention may be used to advocate or promote gun control. Obama has recently asked for $10 million for the Centers for Disease Control to research the cause and prevention of gun violence. Obama is declaring gun violence to be a public health issue, and he wishes to expand the sharing of mental health information between governmental agencies. Yes. Obama has even considered on whether doctors should ask patients about whether they own guns. Recently, Obama has stated that Obamacare, and I quote, "does not prohibit doctors from asking their patients about guns in their homes." Unquote. The American Academy of Pediatrics basically encouraged them to do so in the name of public safety. Yet, the American Psychiatric Association will be coming out with a publication in May 2013 called the DSM-5, which stands for Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, which will have an article discussing on how pedophilia may not be a mental disorder or mental illness. It's basically having sexual intercourse with minors, young girls, young boys, may not be a mental disorder, may not be considered a mental illness. My question is, do you agree with these doctors and the American Psychiatric Association on the issue that pedophilia may not be or is not being a mental illness or disorder? Do you agree? Now, mind you, the American Psychiatric Association has been known to influence governmental public mental health policies. See, the question of keeping guns from the mentally ill is intended to discredit and to silence anyone who answers it incorrectly. This tactic is dangerous because those who should be defending the fundamental right of self-defense are falling over themselves to agree with the focus on mental health. It is important to note that the demand to keep guns away from the mentally ill does not refer to the sensible step of refusing to sell a weapon to someone high on PCP who screams, "I needed to kill my mother." No, it refers to accepting government's definition of mental illness. It means agreeing to a governmental screening process that undoubtedly involves a federal database on people's mental health. Is there something mentally ill and wrong with you if you don't agree with the doctors and government's perspective on what is considered mentally ill? Will extensive and stringent background checks stop individuals with guns that feel like it was the last straw on the camel's back? Will it stop them from snapping and using the gun violently and inappropriately? And is it considered to be mentally ill if one buckles under pressure and snaps? Again, this only refers to accepting the government's definition of mental illness. It means agreeing to a mental governmental screening process that basically involves the federal database of people's mental health. My question is, if we don't agree with what they consider mentally ill and what they don't, this could be a problem in the near future. Right now, everyone basically is they're not seeing the fact that there's psych psychiatrics, you know, psychologists, doctors who feel like pedophilia is not a mental illness. But I don't think half of America would even agree with that. But this American Psychiatric Association is known for their influence on government policies when it comes to their the public health and mental health part of the government. And we must remember that many police officers who have killed and injured many innocent Americans due to them having a bad day have got away scot-free. All they say is that they were their life was threatened, you know, that the person may have had a gun, you know, and they get off scot-free with injuries and death to the American public, to the innocent American public, excuse me. Just a few years ago in Euclid, Ohio, a police officer shot himself dead due to an audit that was being done in the Euclid, Ohio police station. Let's see. And these are the people we consider ourselves to be safe with because they're the ones that's supposed to protect and serve. But they're the ones that's doing an awful lot of crime. And maybe themselves are mentally ill. Maybe they need to go through the extensive and stringent background checks, and which I'm pretty sure they do to be a police officer. But maybe they need to go through the stringent mental health check every year, you know. See where they at financially in their life, their marital status, where they at, are they happy, you know, are they in debt, you know, stuff like this they should check up on the police officers, you know, what they've been doing on their Facebook, who's their friends, you know. My next video, I will go into detail about how the Republicans, the elephant in the room, controls the Democrats, the donkey. You know, when you look at the mascot of these two parties, it kind of makes sense that the Republicans or the conservatives control the Democrats. But these are not just any old ordinary Republicans. These are what you consider conservative liberals, Republican Democrats, or what I would like to say right-wing libertarians who support these Democrats. They've gave tons of funds to the Democratic Leadership Council, and I think that's something that we should understand and know, because even this gun control, banning guns and trying to figure out new gun laws, telling you guns only for hunting. This stuff is this came from a Republican himself, Ronald Reagan. He was the first one to do something like this, you know, that's recent, you know. But I'm gonna get into the straw poll holders, the straw poll winners of the Conservative Party and of the conservative thought, and I'm gonna go in detail on how the elephant controls the donkey. Meechadini.com. Support the cause. Support the cause.